Yes.
Not yet. Well, I've got some intermediate entertainment.
Yeah, you might as well start.
Good evening from Dr. Alfredo.
Yes, and good evening from me, Matt. Welcome to this special Christmas episode of the Astroholic Live. As you can see, we've been a little bit preoccupied here. We've got a fun little mascot, I guess. BB-8 from the new Star Wars. As if I have to explain it to anybody who's watching this. I mean.
Yes, so we're gonna try not to make it fall, and we're gonna make some interesting cocktails tonight. Actually, we're gonna make one interesting cocktail that is a bit Christmas theme. It's nice and spicy. Hopefully, you're going to copy it and enjoy it at home.
This is one I'm actually looking forward to because Alpha's actually put some advanced planning into this one, and it actually looks like it's going to be really good, whereas normally we there's a bit more wing in it involved and they don't always turn out so great. But yeah, so if you've seen the Astroholic Live before, you'll know what it's all about. It's us two, it's cocktails, and it's talking about the latest science news in astronomy. I almost said astrology, I would have been slapped. Astronomy and
would have been killed.
Biology. Yes.
And since it's also Christmas time,
Yeah.
we're gonna mention something sort of related to Christmas a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got our expertly decorated Christmas tree here. I don't know if you can actually see it on camera, but there's very appropriate decorations here with some key figures from the world of science and literature.
Yeah, if you go back through my Twitter feed, you should be able to see the picture in details, but we have Newton, Marie Curie, Eddie Lamar, Tesla, and many others. And we might chat about them for a bit, but I would suggest we start with a little bit of news.
Yeah, what's been in the news? So, we'll start with you, being the Astroholic. We'll start with the Astro part of the holic.
Absolutely.
What's been
BB-8
happening?
approves.
Yeah, so I'll try not to be distracted by too much. But
So I think probably one of the most interesting piece of news is actually non-news. SETI has completed the observation of the WTF star and confirmed that there are no aliens.
So hold on, just to recap and bring us all up to speed.
What's
WTF is the WTF star.
What is the WTF star? So you might have heard a few months ago that there was a mysterious star that had an alleged alien megastructure around it. What did it actually have? To find planets around distant stars, what we do is just looking at their lights. And every time there is a dip in the lights, like if there was an eclipse or something going in front of them, we make a record of it.
For example, blip. Blip, that's actually very hot. But
yes,
that's the principle.
But that works.
That's the
yes.
the principle. Stars are hot, so yeah, okay. You get the idea.
So, what is actually happening is we record those dipping lights, and if we see a period, it means that those dips correspond to planets, and then we do follow-up observation to understand what kind of planets are there. When they look at the star, they first found a small dip. So, for example, if somebody was looking, if a planet the size of Jupiter was orbiting that star, it would take away about 2% of the light. So they saw a dip, I think, about 1% of the light. After a while, they saw another one, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then about a year later, so for a year they didn't see anything. A year later, they saw a dip in 22% of the star luminosity.
Considering how big a star is, 22% is a lot of star.
Yeah,
a big
quarter of a star is being obscured by something. And after, I think, 1.5 years after that, another major dip with a lot of weird stuff was happening. And what happened is they wrote a paper about it, and one of the journalists asked, "Oh, could it be alien?" And researchers said,
Of course, everybody ran with it. Everybody
maybe
thought
we
aliens,
cannot
for sure.
we cannot exclude that. So the first news was alien megastructure found. Most likely, what I thought from the very beginning, and what is the main hypothesis now, it's a big comet swarm. So a bunch of comets was broken up. Ooh,
Sorry.
it suddenly got very Christmassy.
Okay, it's going away.
And started obscuring the star, and that would explain the non-periodicity, so the fact that it didn't go regularly around the star, and how it was possible to take away so much light from the star. And obviously SETI, the Institute for Research of Extraterrestrial Life, wanted to look into it. That's what science does. Even though something is unlikely, doesn't mean that it shouldn't be tested. So they looked into it, first in radio, looking for radio signals, but pretty much the first day of observation, there were crazy people saying, "Oh, but advanced alien civilization would have developed some form of communication that has nothing to do with laser." So,
But did they come up with any better suggestions?
nothing to do with radio waves. So they come up with lasers, and SETI went and also looked in the opticals and couldn't see anything that would suggest there is an advanced civilization around this star. And well, that's.
So basically, all we need to know is we're still, as far as we know, alone in the universe.
Yes, the Fermi paradox holds.
Yeah.
And there's two approaches that we can see this. It could be a bit sad that, ooh, we haven't found aliens yet. But there's also a positive way to see this. Imagine if there are about probably 20 billion Earth-sized planets in the universe, in the Milky Way. Many more in the universe. So, if we'd seen already aliens, we had so much, if life was common, if civilization were common around the Milky Way.
I'm sorry. I thought, BBA was being a bit rude, not looking at the camera. Obviously, I should not be touching him.
No.
Or her. Is it a him or a her?
I would say her. So,
Sorry.
going back to my discussion, if the galaxy was teeming with civilization, and we haven't met anyone, we haven't had any signal, it's like, okay, so probably traveling through the stars is difficult. Communicating with other civilization is difficult, and that would be a bit sucky. Because
And then there's also that part of the paradox that says, even if there is the likelihood of an alien civilization occurring and arising, it's also very likely that they have appeared and disappeared in the time that's taken us to appear. So either we'll be long gone before this alien civilization arrives, or
for 600 million, 700 million years.
Yeah, long time.
And we only been
No,
able
3 billion.
More than 600 million.
More than 600 million, yeah.
I don't know, I'm an astrophysicist. It's so 3 billions. Let's go
A
with 3
long,
billions.
a long time. That's that's the important part. Is
Okay.
life has been around for a long time.
And we only been communicating outside the Earth for the last 100 years, and doing so quite badly. So it's not surprised that we haven't heard from any civilization, and hopefully in the next 5 years we might be able to spot life that are capable to sustain life. What did I just say?
I don't know. I was just about to say because
Okay, we full disclosure, we've been pre-drinking.
That's why we're only giving. So we kind of sold it to you that we're going to give you one quality cocktail this time, but really it's because we've had a bit more festive cheer in us before we started tonight.
So what I was about to say is that in the next few years we should be able to spot planets that are capable to sustain life. So that's going to be cool. Wanna take us into the world of biology and then make us a drink?
Sure, why not? So, it's an interesting story that's been in the news recently. Has been a study that came out of from a group in Israel who looked at about 1,400 brains of people between ages of 13 and 85, so full age spectrum, and they've caused quite a stir by saying, actually, they've caused quite a stir because they've really thrown out... the reason it's controversial, I explain, is because previous areas of the large amounts of... So what this group in Israel did is they looked at one particular function, because for those of you who don't know, different parts of the brain will have play a different role in what function you do. So, for instance, your occipital lobes at the back of your head, they're involved in processing visual information from your eyes, whereas the front of your brain doesn't do that for some reason. The furthest bit away from your eyes controls your eyes. But anyway, I digress. So this group, they took 1,400 brain scans of men and women, and what they found was really interesting. It's not that they found no difference between the sexes, but they actually found that there were so many different subgroups and almost a mosaic of different patterns and different structures amongst people. The whole men and women have structurally different brains. What they found was actually only between 0 and 8% of the brain scan had typical structural features that were associated with full-on maleness and full-on femaleness, whereas most people actually have a mosaic of different features that part some male and some female, which really adds ground to the theory that gender is non-binary and it's more fluid. It's not just you're a man and that's it, or you're a woman and that's it. There's nothing else. It's really quite interesting. It caused quite a stir because lots of people. Well, I say not lots of people. Not that many people are. Rallying against it. Actually, a lot of people are really interested to see evidence for this come forward. It's the first time evidence has been brought forward to support the idea of non-binary gender in humans. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That was definitely cool. It's it's not a surprise that the more advanced study, the less we found a lot more differences. Our brain scans are getting better quality of images, but also think that for many years, most of psychology and neuropsychology was done on men.
Yeah, that's true. And also you've got to think when you're doing any behavioural studies with humans in particular, and perhaps even functional studies, there's always the chance that there's a bias in terms of the sort of behaviours that are ingrained in a person because of the society they've been brought up in. So overall, the world we live in is a very man-orientated world, and a lot of societies still grow up with putting certain pressures, even a lot of the time they're very subconscious, on women and men to act certain ways or do certain things because at whatever period of time you're in, it's considered appropriate for that gender. So there's always those things that could have bias tests as well, but the big thing is as well, at some point, the same goes for animal models as well for a very long time. Not even just in neuroscience, but in many biological research studies involving animal models, only the males were used because they thought, oh, they're females because they go through, have their estrous cycle, so that's just the menstrual cycle. For the lay people between us, i.e. people who are not biologists, they thought, oh, they're going to go have their ovulation cycle. It's definitely going to throw everything off, so let's never use the females. And so therefore they just assumed, well, they didn't assume, but it kind of adds to the whole idea of that, it reinforces the idea that the genders are very, very different. But actually we're not. Which kind of a lot of people figured already, you know.
Alright, that'll take us into the cocktail making
yes,
part
the bit you've all been waiting for.
So, what I'm experimenting, because Matt says I put planning into this, say goodbye to BB-8. Matt says that I put a lot of planning into it, but I actually...
Now this is where we sell ourselves out, and we say, here's one I made earlier, and this is where we're like, oh, we're definitely professionals, and...
We are definitely professional, but we're professional not in the cocktail making, that we're...
True. Just go back on YouTube and rewatch any previous broadcasts we've done, and you'll just, I'm sure you'll be super impressed by our cocktail making skills. I mean, I don't think we've had a single episode yet where we haven't thrown something over ourselves.
So, let's make this one the right one.
Yeah, this will be the show where the cocktail doesn't end up on us.
So, what I'm making tonight is something a bit Christmassy. It's gonna have cinnamon, it's gonna have ginger, it's gonna have orange juice, it's gonna have honey, and it's gonna have rum, because I just assumed that everyone has an extended family like my extended family.
What? I feel like that needs context.
No, it doesn't. So, we need to also be mysterious, otherwise...
I thought that's why we turned the lights off, but never mind.
No, that is to look better.
Right.
Right. So,
obviously, just to make anything festive, you spice it like mulled wine or mulled cider or what are those Christmas lattes? Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of pumpkin spice latte, and that's
yes,
Halloween.
But
close enough. Close enough. The seasons are close enough.
Yes.
JD Yates says hello.
Hi, JD Yates.
Hello.
Oh, also, if you've only just joined us, I'm Matt. This is Alf. And we are Astroholic Live, and we're just about to make you a festive themed cocktail. We've just gone through some of our favourite bits of the science news in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, any science puns, we love a good science pun, and we've not brought out the shame bell yet this episode, but do tweet us. We have our handy producer Chris on the sidelines, just waiting to send us your comments or tweets, and or hey, even if you just want to talk and just be like, hey guys, how's it going? You know, I mean, tweet us. But yeah, hey JD Yates, thanks for reminding me to give a shout out to all of you friends who watch us on Twitter.
So,
and apologies for not having that many cocktails, but like I said, there was some pre-merriment going on, and we're sensible adults. Drink responsibly, people. Or don't.
So, this has been,
what is it?
it's rum, and let's say that is a double by 2.5.
Yeah, so how much? We've got nearly 125 mils of rum in there. This is one portion.
And then it's a little bit of ginger.
Know your units. Actually, how many units is that?
That? That's 10. And a good heap of cinnamon. It went on the table.
This is going to turn into be some awful cinnamon challenge. By the way, interesting fact about the spices often used in these kind of drinks, which our good friend Dan, or Black Finch on Twitter, if you want to find him, always tells us, is that it only takes about, I think it's 6 teaspoons full of nutmeg before it's psychotropic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so very interesting. He always just likes to throw that out there, so I thought that's a relevant fact. Some honey. Okay, a lot of honey.
Well, like a
bit of sugar.
Yeah. And orange juice.
It actually smells really good.
I know. So I was thinking today, oh, what is very Christmassy? I'm like, oh, the smell of orange, oh, the smell of cinnamon. I say, well, you need to have something gingery, or, well, a little bit of rum never goes bad. And I thought, oh, maybe we can mix everything together.
And interesting science fact on that point.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that half of the sensation of smell is all in your head? So the smells that you associate with certain occasions, if you were to think about them enough, you could almost convince yourself that you were to be tasting it or smelling, because smell and taste are very much linked in that respect.
Okay.
I mean, try block your nose and eat something and see your taste. It will taste different.
So, is Alfredo going to get a lot of stuff on himself?
No, don't move closer to me. I'm moving.
And I think we finally got the right.
Oh, this is tense. Okay, good. Whoa, okay, don't ruin it last minute.
So it's.
I think we need a round of applause for that.
Thank you. So.
A new Astroholic record, the first time we've managed to shake a cocktail and not throw it everywhere. Get out. Don't leave me out.
And.
Excellent. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I didn't want to disappoint.
And here it is. He couldn't even.
I'm sorry, we were going so well. I really just had to.
He couldn't even put it in his mouth.
Ayo! Where's the shame bell?
Yeah.
Where's the shame bell? Come on. Bear with us, folks. We need to shame bell that. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Alright, so let's see what I managed to come up with.
I'll promise I won't spill any more. Cheers.
Cheers.
Wait. We always toast to something. What did we toast to this time?
Okay, this 2 weeks ago was the 100th anniversary of the theory of general relativity. So,
Which was... Who came up with that?
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein. So, to Einstein and relativity.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Merry freaking Christmas. Mostly rum, but with a hint of Christmas spirit. I like it. I like it. My shirt likes it as well.
Yeah. And I think that's how you describe me over the holidays. Come on, that was good.
No.
I'll give myself a gold star for that.
Okay. Obviously, we're lacking quality in terms of Christmas puns tonight. So please do tweet us at Dr. Carpenetti or at MattJY your best Christmas puns, because
Or
why
scientifically accurate Christmas jokes.
not? Oh yeah, we do love a good scientifically accurate Christmas joke.
Yeah. Since I mentioned relativity, how about we talk about general relativity? Why is it important?
The general relativity. I don't know. As the biologist here, I'm going to play dumb, and I'm going to be... Go on, Elf. Tell us, why is general relativity so important? I don't know.
Well, I don't like your tone, but general relativity is important because it completely changes our perspective on how things in the universe move and interact and what gravity really is. It's in very simple terms, Einstein changed our worldview completely. For Newton, is the apple that falls down on Earth. Einstein showed that it's actually the Earth that is just pushing us up. And a very good argument is if you're sitting down and you're listening to this for an entire hour, at the end your bum is gonna ache because it's the chair pushing you up. And
So hold on, you're saying even though we push down on the ground pushes back.
No, I'm saying that we're not pushing down on the ground. It's the ground pushing up on us. And it's to do with how the geometry of space-time works. So
Interesting.
it's a completely different perspective. It's from the ground up in a way. But all that we understand of astronomy, it all thanks to general relativity. We have the theory of Big Bang, black holes, galaxy mergers, Einstein rings.
What's an Einstein ring?
It's when
It's nothing I could wear, is it? Because, you know, I've got a work Christmas party coming up soon, and Einstein ring sounds like it'd be really appropriate.
no, Einstein ring is if you're massive enough to bend space-time and you have light coming from around you. So I'm not gonna impose any sort of insult on that. How dare you?
We won't go there. We won't go there. I'd like to think, okay.
An Einstein ring happens when a big galaxy or a galaxy cluster is in the foreground, and there is other galaxy in the background, and the light from the faraway galaxies gets bent and magnified, and the foreground galaxy act like a lens. It's a gravitational lens, and sometimes you have these really nice images of Einstein rings, which allow us to see further than we could see with our telescopes.
And it kind of brings us nicely on to the next part here. So going on gravity, who was the person who first proposed the idea of gravity as such?
Well, it's Newton, which you might not be able to see, but is on the top of the Christmas tree.
Oh, he's up there. He's up there.
It's
Newton.
over there.
And Sir Isaac Newton, his birthday is actually the 25th of December. So
Although there's a problem with that.
is there?
Yeah, it's England and the UK had a different calendar back then. So while for most for the UK, it was Newton was born on Christmas Day. From the calendar, from the point of view of modern day timekeeping, is born on the 4th of January. But I don't care. I like Newton on my Christmas tree. So
Yeah.
Newton is
As
born
far
on
as
Christmas.
when he was born, it was seen as the 25th
Yeah.
of January.
25th
So
of December.
sorry,
25th of December.
25th of December. It's because you said January. You threw me off.
Almost
sound-
my fault.
It's kind of you're always trying to Darren Brown me there. So yeah, we could. It was also Newtonmas.
Yes.
Because interestingly enough, Christmas wasn't always on the 25th of December. It's been moved around quite a lot over the years.
Well, it's
It's actually a very fascinating holiday. I mean, even though it has its roots in Christianity, over the centuries, we've also picked up some really interesting little emblems from other cultures and religions. I mean, have you ever wondered why we decorate evergreens at Christmas? Because those are definitely present in the environment that the Bible was written in. Yeah, I mean, everybody goes to Israel every year to see the conifers. I mean, I've been wanting to do that myself for years. But actually, it comes from pagan culture in Europe when Christianity was having its good old takeover of Western Europe. They kind of jumped on in on the pagans and were like, "Hey guys, don't throw you off your stride, but we don't like all these multiple gods you have. So I'm gonna let you finish and keep your winter solstice festival with your trees, but we're gonna move it a little bit to a different time and kind of combine it with our thing."
But to be honest, Christianity gave them a good deal. It was a 3-for-1 on God.
That was actually kind of funny.
And you
I'm
see
still gonna shame you.
Yes, you can shame me. But
Shame me for bad jokes.
I'm gonna give myself a gold star for many years of Catholic school.
Yes, I think
The
you
legend
should.
that joke, but you're right. There was a lot of Celtic paganism in Christmas, but
Celtic what?
also Celtic paganism.
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 Vote now. Which way do you prefer it? Paganism or paganism?
Well, I pronounce it the way...
Potato, tomato. Wait. Those are different words. What's the thing? Tomato, tomato. Paganism, paganism.
But it's also a song from Roman culture, the festival of the Saturnalia and the festival of the Sol Invictus, which just means the victorious sun. And this is why we have lights and candles, and we just feel, oh, we should have everything. Well, everything is decorated with lights because it's the moment that the days start getting longer again, and we're ready to embrace light.
And interestingly, the idea of Santa Claus also has its roots in old religion as well. Santa Claus himself, the idea of him kind of came from Northern Europe. Started with Saint Nicholas or whatever, some kind of thing like that. It's Nicholas. Nicola.
Yes. No. Go on. Sorry.
I think that's the least important part of what I'm trying to say.
No, my concept was on Northern Europe because Saint Nicholas is from Turkey.
From Turkey.
Yeah.
Yes, but the idea of him was merged a little bit from Norse religion.
Okay.
Because Odin in Norse religion used to ride a horse with, I think it was like 8 legs or 7 legs.
8
7?
legs. 8 legs.
6 legs. A horse that had more legs than a horse should. And from that, it kind of got combined with the idea of St. Nicholas of giving presents to modern day Santa who rides a sled pulled by reindeers. Is it 8 legs? We've just been fact checked. Is it? It's 8 legs. 8 legs. This just in, Odin rode a horse with 8 legs.
And it was, the horse with 8 legs was the son of Loki, who made...
His son was a horse.
Huh?
His son was a horse.
Well, because Loki turned himself into a mare and had sex with a horse.
Extra points if you know its name.
Okay, yeah, that's it. If you know the name of Odin's 8-legged horse, tweet us now. And we'll find a way to reward you.
Yeah, we'll give you gold stars. I'll literally...
We will post you gold stars.
Yes.
What is the name of that horse that is somehow
Be the
Loki's
first
son?
one.
I'd love to see that in the next Thor Avengers movie. Loki's like...
Getting mounted by a horse?
No! Loki is not getting mounted by a horse. I'd love to see Loki...
Dave got it right.
Dave got it right.
Yeah.
The name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Slipnir.
Okay. Well done, Dave. Thanks.
Yeah, Dave's gonna get gold stars tomorrow. Apart from Norse religion, there is one astronomical thing that is connected to Christmas, and is also connected to art because it's the comet that you put on the nativity scene, and the reason why there is a comet is. Traditionally, the wise men were astrologers, so they used the stars to found the way to Bethlehem, and in their ideas they were predicting something big was about to happen. But it's an Italian painter called Giotto who first put as the symbol of the miracle birth as a comet, and the comet that he drew in one of his paintings of the nativity scene is Halley's comet. Halley's comet.
Halley's comet.
Sorry, that's Italian coming out.
You can't use that as an excuse for everything, Alf.
That-
You've got to get on your game. Okay.
So Halley's comet, which is a periodical comet that comes closer to the sun every 76 years, and was first observed by the Babylonian. And
where is that in modern day terms?
Is Iraq and a little bit of Iran and a little bit of Syria. Since then, it's been seen every 76 years. Every time people blame it for catastrophe, because you see something unusual and you need to find an explanation, and the best explanation is the pretty light in the sky with the awesome tail. Last time that it happened was 1986, which sucks because I was born in 1985 and I don't remember. And I have stories of my parents saying, "Oh, it was so gorgeous," but at least I was happy to see Hale-Bopp in '98. And I'm getting really annoyed. We haven't had a good comet in ages.
Although, talking about mysterious lights in the sky, it wasn't a comet, but if you were to understand the sort of phenomenon of people blaming or attributing absolutely everything to a mysterious light in the sky, very recently in the eastern United States, there was an aircraft, very slow-moving aircraft, that made a bright light going through the sky at night. People thought it was a comet, but it wasn't. Or is it a meteorite if it's coming?
No, it was an aircraft, but it was in west coast.
Yes, I meant the West Coast, but drinks. So yeah, it's very interesting. It was only a couple of weeks ago, and absolutely everyone. Apparently, the spike in UFO reporting just went through the roof, and people had loads of people committed crimes and said the comet made me do it, even though it was an aircraft. Anyway, back to Halley's Comet.
One actually,
fun fact for you.
If since we're a bit slack in religion, one interesting fact about a connection between the sky and Western religion is the schism between the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church of 1054. So it was blamed on a supernova, which is now known as the Crab Nebula. So all across the world, we have people recording seeing this bright light in the sky. Apart from a large part of Europe, which considered that a bad omen. And there was a schism, but now we have a very, very pretty light very pretty picture of the Crab Nebula, which is this amazing supernova remnant with a neutron star at its center.
Quite nice and Christmassy and poetic, isn't it? Something beautiful coming out of something so destructive.
But even something destructive can be beautiful.
That's true.
Yeah. It's... to be honest, sorry.
What is it? What is it?
It's... No, anything that is... something can be terrible and can be beautiful. Something can be horrifying and still be artistically beautiful, simply because it gives you emotion. You can see... it's the reason why we watch sad movies or movies that upset us, because we like having emotion. We want to be connected. This is why I think I've been
that's deep. That's deep.
It's getting too deep for
we just went deep. Like we're here to talk about space. We're not here to go underground.
Yes.
You know
so going back into space.
Oh, there's more. Thank you.
Yes.
I didn't realize there was more. So we'll bring on to next. I mean,
so what else?
You see, we used to write notes for ourselves in the background, but we decided we can't do that anymore because they don't rub off the way we did it. So
yes, my cupboard is still stained.
So now we're relying on good old human memory, hey? As infallible as it is.
What can we... So... There are other science
Should we just play like rock, paper, scissors? Because
no, I have a couple of ideas of things that happened this week. Oh, there is a question. Save that.
I'm so sorry, we forgot about your question.
You were completely into Christmas conversation, but earlier JD Yates suggested first topic suggestion: interesting things are happening in radio telescopy, FAST and SKA, etc., and how they impact your studies.
Oh, so just repeat that for the camera. That's a question from JD Yates, and what did he ask?
Thank you, JD. He asked what's going on in radio astronomy at the moment, and how that impacts what's happening in astronomy. So we have a lot of interesting things happening in radio astronomy. The Square Kilometer Array, which is what he mentioned as the SKA, is going to be, well, the precursor to the Square Kilometer Array is going to be built by the end of the year, like 2016, sorry, I think. And the Square Kilometer Array should be ready by 2020, and it should be able to see very high resolution in radio. Why it's important to see in radio waves? Because things like a magnetic field around stars or black holes accelerate electrons, and electrons are emit in synchrotron radiation, which is can be seen by radio waves. Synchrotron radiation is just you have an electron and you make it spin in a circle, and that's what it does. An electron goes around in a sort of corkscrew orbit around a magnetic field. Interesting stuff that is also happening in radio, or close enough to radio, is the Atacama Large Millimeter Array called ALMA, which has been taking phenomenal pictures of from supernova remnants to black holes to faraway galaxy. There are so many things that have been found. Other interesting things that have been recently found is confirmation on what fast radio bursts are. So there is this phenomenal thing. We found 14 of these fast radio bursts. You just have a burst of sudden radio waves, incredibly powerful, incredibly quick. It appears and it disappears.
Just like that.
Just like that. And
mystery.
They thought there was something incredible, and then they start seeing so many, until they realized that most of those were people opening the microwave before the countdown stopped.
Really?
I shit you not. They're called Perinites.
So we almost had another oh my god, it must be aliens moment when actually it was all down to people opening their microwaves.
I used the iPad to check the proper name. The name is after the name of a mythological creature.
Medusa.
No.
A Hydra.
It's called something...
Sphinx.
Shut up. So, and what happens is that when you open a microwave, the little microwave generator has not finished yet, and so it sends a microwave signal out, and that bounces in the atmosphere, cannot pass through the atmosphere. And what is they're called the wrong ones, peritons, and it's from the premature opening of microwave ovens. And the name peritons come from...
That's P-E-R-Y-T-O-N. Because I can read the screen from here.
Yes, thank you. It's a mythological creature. I cannot...
a periton?
Yeah, periton. It's a weird mythological creature. But some of the others, I think 14 fast radio bursts are being found. Some are believed to be caused by... a black hole and a neutron star merging together, and when the magnetic field, so what they both black holes and neutron stars have a very strong magnetic field, and when they start interacting, when they start orbiting each other, they form like a cosmic battery.
Ooh.
Yeah, they have
like a giant potato battery.
Yes, made of dense, incredibly dense material and death.
Death.
And
you heard it here first, folks. Death batteries.
Yes.
Space death batteries.
Space death batteries, and when they merge, suddenly.
We'll go and harvest them when we can make our space elevators out of carbon nanotubules. You'll see. I got the idea down. Don't worry.
I'm so glad. And what happens is that when they get very close, the magnetic field of the neutron star, once it's been eaten by the black holes, jump on the supermassive black holes and that release a big burst of radio waves. But there's also other mechanisms. I think even just two neutron star merging could create that. But they're still very, very mysterious, and that is fascinating. Radio astronomy, it's I wish I knew more about radio astronomy. Unfortunately, I did very little about radio astronomy in my PhD, but it's a fascinating domain at the moment. And if I had a lot of money, what I would do is build a radio telescope on the moon, on the far side of the moon. So we could.
Oh, now that's mysterious. Dark side of the moon project.
Technically, the far side of the moon.
Far side, dark
Yes,
side.
and
we know what I mean. We do. Don't worry. Don't worry. They know. They know. It's cool. Just carry on.
It's having a radio telescope on the far side of the moon would shield the telescope from Earth communication radiation and would make the signal much better. So I would build up a series of radio antennas on the far side of the moon and a swimming pool on the moon. You know why?
Pool. Go on now. Why would you build a swimming pool on the moon?
Because if you have a swimming pool on the moon and you run fast enough, you can run on water.
Boom. Mic drop moment right there. That would actually be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Except the water would freeze.
No, you would be. The swimming pool would
Oh,
be
we're
inside.
thinking indoors. Sorry.
Obviously,
Sorry.
okay.
I'm being optimistic.
Seriously, this wasn't like, ooh, I can run on water if it's ice. No, if you have a structure with Earth normal pressure on the moon with liquid water, like a proper pool, you could run you can dive in and jump out like a dolphin. Having 1/6 of Earth's gravity will allow you to do some pretty cool things.
I'd love to do that. Speaking of microgravity, a fun thing that's happening recently is the astronauts on the ISS are getting, lucky buggers, they're getting a HoloLens. Is it Microsoft who makes the HoloLens? The virtual reality headwear. They're getting the HoloLens virtual reality game kit thing to play with on the ISS. I don't know how they wangled that around and made good reason to use that in space, but I think that'd be a pretty awesome place to use it. I mean, if you had to try out one thing in microgravity, what would it be? And if any of you at home, no hesitation.
No hesitation.
Sex and microgravity. Fair enough.
I helped organize a talk by Dr. Sarah Marklin about, and she was one of the doctor working at NASA, a medical doctor, and it was about the difference of gender mostly in space, but it was also a lot about physiology. And all my friends have been quite the coward, and they gave me a list of things to ask about actual sex in space. We know there's been a married couple in space, not the fact that they married any difference, but they were a couple. And as far as we can tell, you can get erection in space, but I think nobody has ever asked any astronaut if, nobody official asked any astronaut if they have been able to orgasm. But
unless they have, and there's a big cover-up because NASA are prudish.
No, probably is because it has no major scientific value apart the fact that we're all
curious.
A bit of peeping toms. But on AMA on Reddit, I think it was a question to Chris Hadfield, the Canadian astronaut, was if you felt on the ISS that it gets a bit too crowded and if you can have some alone time, and he said there's plenty of spaces that you can be alone. And people wanted to interpret that as yes, masturbation is possible in space. I would be curious simply because it's one of the basic human instinct. And first of all, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But maybe it's just too complicated. Maybe it's just too weird. You're definitely gonna need to be connected somehow.
Because in space and microgravity, there's no sort of microgravity. There's almost no gravity to hold you down. You think for every action there's an equal opposite reaction. Just have a think about the logistics of that. You know, sort of like I push one way and then I get sent. If I push an object, I'll get sent backwards with the force from the object, and the object will go that way. So, not to get too graphic, but think about it. Think about it. Do we have a question?
Yes, from Dave, who said that the story of Christmas is about a miraculous birth. Is there any miraculous scientific births?
Oh, this is a great question. Don't worry, Elf. This is my domain now. So, as we all know, with roots in Christianity, there is a story of the virgin birth. We also all know that in humans, there is no such thing as a virgin birth. So, and that's all I'll say on that. But within the animal kingdom, with lizards in particular, there is such a thing called parthenogenesis, which is an absolutely fascinating process that happens. And what it is, it's basically where female lizards will sometimes self-fertilize and produce without actually having sexual reproduction. And it's absolutely fascinating. It's where one of the eggs inside them, they still don't entirely know what triggers it, but basically one of their eggs will just double its own chromosomes and undergo division. So effectively, the offspring are extremely similar. They're not exactly clones, but they are extremely similar to the mother. But female lizards, including Komodo dragons, have been known to have full clutches on very rare occasions as well. This is not something that happens very often, but it has been witnessed once or twice in zoos, which is how they know about it, where female lizards, in isolation or without outside the company of other males, have given birth to a clutch of eggs that have hatched and grown successfully to adulthood. So yeah, parthenogenesis, but very unlikely because of the mechanisms they consider to be involved. Very unlikely to ever happen in a mammal, never mind a human. So yeah, there you go. Not to offend anyone, but who knows? The Virgin Mary might have been a lizard. To the Virgin Lizard Mary. And that's a new storyline for Doctor Who. I'm trademarking that. I'm getting paid. If anyone sees that on Doctor Who in the next season, just remember who came up with that.
Yeah, you see, I thought that you were going for something like she claimed that she was a virgin, and something that offensive, but not the Virgin Lizard Mary. So,
well, okay. Shoot my idea down, why don't you? I'm just being creative here, you know. I'm trying to.
I'll give you a star.
Thank you very much.
I didn't give you any stars.
No. We've been too into the facts today. We've neglected the stupid side of things, shall we say?
We'll never neglect the stupid side of things.
I'm pretty sure my Virgin Lizard Mary comment just made up for all of that.
So we got only 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes left. It's gone so fast.
Yes.
So this will be the last Astroholic of 2015.
It will. So the last piece of news that I want to discuss, unless anyone else got any questions
or any other comments. Yeah, any last minute fun facts or shout outs.
Yeah,
go on, we'll do a shout out for you. Why not?
And we don't have to finish in 5 minutes. It's just try to keep a tight.
Again, we are professionals.
Yes.
That's why we tell you we're keeping to a time schedule.
Yeah, so instead of being so meta about the time, let's talk about this latest piece of news. It's the Japanese Space Agency finally put spacecraft around Venus. This spacecraft called Akatsuki.
Akatsu curry. I heard a katsu curry.
No, you haven't.
Breaking news: the Japanese have put a katsu curry in orbit around Venus.
So this spacecraft that is the Japanese word.
I'm sorry, I'll shame myself. That was
Yeah, shame yourself.
That was bad. Okay, enough.
It's the name of the spacecraft is the Japanese word for dawn, and it's the first time they attempted this. It was in 2010, on the 6th of December 2010. But the engine, the main engine, overheated, and it didn't stop in time. So the probe overshot and went around the sun. And what they thought was like, you know what? We're just gonna wait for another time that we can get it back around Venus. And it took 5 years, 5 years exactly. And on the 7th of December, they were able to use the auxiliary engines to slow down the probe enough and get it around orbit of Venus. And this probe is gonna do fantastic work. It's gonna look at the different layers of the atmosphere. It's gonna look at lightning.
Lightning on Venus.
Yeah, which it's fascinating to see if another rocky planet has got lightning. Shouldn't be. We should have lightning everywhere. It's not a complicated thing. But another things we should looking if there are volcanoes.
Volcanoes on Venus.
Yeah. So there are at the moment there are two geologically active two volcanically active worlds in the solar system. It's Earth and Io. We have geologically active Enceladus, Triton. A lot of other places in the solar system have something going on inside. Pluto, something is happening in Pluto. We have no idea what, but something is definitely changing the surface of Pluto. And we know that once in a while, the entire surface of Venus turns into magma and is completely renewed. But it's if there are
like a planetary facelift.
Yeah, but there are
interesting.
If there are volcanoes, means that the volcanism is active. And instead, the surface could be just to do with the planet heating itself enough to just melt. But volcanoes means there is a lot more going on inside. One of the characteristics of Earth that we haven't seen anywhere else in the solar system, it's tectonics. It doesn't look like Venus got tectonics, but if it's got volcanoes, even like plume-like, like Hawaii or the volcanoes of Mars, it might indicate some interesting stuff going on there. The geologists are going to be happy.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Right. Do we have any more last questions or comments? Cool. Well, I don't know about you, but I think I've had enough of that for that to be enough of me talking. So
good.
I think that brings us to pretty much the end of our Astroholic Christmas broadcast. I hope you enjoyed the tree and us.
And I'm. So I think that's enough for almost Dr. Mass. And from me, it's Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah. If you want to be entertained by us in any way at all anymore, you can find us online. You can find us on Twitter at Dr. Carbonetti or at MattJY.
And follow also at the Astroholic, because I'm starting that. And go to the blog, etc., etc., etc. Is there a question? The producer is being.
Thanks again to JD Yates and Dave
for all the communication and the question and everything. And to everyone, have a wonderful December.
Yes,
Cheers.
have a great festive time.